We're all kind of obsessed with winning. But what if the way we think about it is, well, completely wrong? We're always told that success is all about raw talent or just having superhuman willpower. But what if the real secret is a mental switch, one that completely changes how you see failure, how you see effort, and even how you see your own abilities? So in this explainer, we're going to go way beyond the highlight reels and get into the real psychology of what it takes to find true, lasting success.
I mean, this quote just nails it, right? That incredible feeling after you overcome some massive obstacle. It's the story we all love, that heroic struggle against all the odds. It's a powerful, powerful feeling, for sure. But is that the whole story of what it takes to win? Because what if that victory is less about conquering some opponent out there and a whole lot more about mastering our own internal world? This little shift in perspective, well, that's where the real game actually begins. Look, we've all heard the wisdom from legends like Vince Lombardi or Michael Jordan. Their words about grit and determination, they've basically become the cultural playbook for how to succeed. But are we only seeing the surface? What if there's a much deeper psychological layer to their success that most of us have been missing? The message is always the same, right? Winners push through. They have an unbreakable will. They just refuse to lose. And yeah, all of that is true. That's the what of winning. But you know what? It tells us absolutely nothing about the how. So here's the crucial question. Why do some people seem to have that endless resilience, while others just crumble? What is that hidden engine that's driving that refusal to give up, even when failure seems totally certain? Let's find out. The answer, it turns out, lies in this really powerful framework that shapes how we approach pretty much everything, from our jobs to our personal lives. It's the psychological pivot point that separates just trying from actually triumphing. This all comes from the groundbreaking research of a Stanford psychologist named Carol Dweck. And what she discovered was that our success isn't just about our talent or how much effort we put in. It's about a single deep-seated belief. Do we think our abilities are just fixed, set in stone, or do we believe they can actually grow? So Dweck's research laid out these two incredibly powerful mindsets. If you have a fixed mindset, you basically believe your talents are innate. You're either a math person or you're not, right? So challenges become these threats that might expose your limits. But if you have a growth mindset, you see your abilities as something you can build. Challenges aren't threats anymore. They're opportunities to learn and get stronger. And this one tiny difference in belief, well, it changes absolutely everything. Okay, let's look at this famous quote again, but through this new lens. Nelson Mandela isn't just talking about being stubborn here. This is a perfect description of a growth mindset in action. A dreamer is someone who fundamentally believes that through persistence, their current reality doesn't have to be their final destination. Okay, so if a growth mindset is like the psychological software, what's going on in the hardware, in our brains and our bodies? Let's dive into the science a bit to see how this mindset actually builds resilience from the inside out. For someone with a fixed mindset, failure feels like a final judgment on their ability. And according to Dweck's research, that dread isn't just a feeling. It triggers a very real and very powerful cascade of stress hormones in the body. So here's basically how it works. When your brain detects a threat, like, say, the possibility of failure, it activates something called the HPA axis. That's your body's central stress response system. It then releases cortisol, which puts you on high alert. Now, constantly living in that state, it doesn't just feel bad, it can actually have serious long-term health consequences. So how do we manage this automatic biological reaction? Well, an incredibly effective tool is a protocol called mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR. It was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and it's a program that's been proven to help you self-regulate your stress response by directly influencing that HPA axis we just talked about. And MBSR isn't just some vague idea. It's a toolkit. It uses concrete techniques like body scan meditation to build awareness of your physical state, Hatha yoga to connect your mind and body, and something called diaphragmatic breathing to actively lower those cortisol levels. These aren't just relaxation exercises. They are literally the tools you use to win that inner game. So we have the theory and we have the science. Now, let's get practical. How do we build the daily habits that actually create and reinforce a growth mindset? Let's take a look at how some of the most successful people in the world actually do it. First up, this is the foundational habit that really holds everything else up. You have to commit to a ritual. The legendary dancer Twyla Tharp has this great story. Her ritual isn't her intense workout, it's the simple, repeatable act of hailing a cab to go to the gym. By making the start of the process automatic and non-negotiable, she gets rid of all that decision fatigue and makes herself way more consistent. It's absolutely brilliant.
Next, a practice to get your mind ready for the day ahead. Clear your head. Before the world starts screaming for your attention, people like Arianna Huffington take 20 to 30 minutes for mindfulness or meditation. This connects directly back to that NBSR training we talked about. It's a deliberate choice to start the day with focus and calm, instead of just reacting to a flood of emails and notifications. And finally, a simple practice that can completely change your entire perspective. Practice gratitude. Oprah Winfrey reportedly starts her day by reading 5 cards that remind her of what she's thankful for. Now, this isn't just about feeling good, it's a conscious act of training your brain to focus on opportunity and abundance, which is the very essence of a growth mindset. So when you start to weave all these threads together, the mindset that welcomes challenges, the science that helps you manage your internal state, and the daily habits that reinforce it all, a radically different and much more powerful picture of what it means to win really starts to come into focus. And it leads us to understand a quote like this on a much, much deeper level. True, lasting success isn't a trophy on a shelf or some finish line you cross. It's the daily process of embracing challenges, learning from your setbacks, and committing to the practice of just getting better. That's the win. So the only question left is this one. Forget about changing your whole life overnight. What is the one challenge, big or small, that you will choose to face tomorrow, not as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow,